All right, take a look at this poll, please. Donald Trump is almost 30 points ahead of his nearest competitor, Ron DeSantis. I mean, wow, that really kind of crashed and burned a little bit, right? This is an incredible lead for a guy who's been through hell, oh, by the way. Can I see the matchup between Donald Trump and Joe Biden? I keep hearing from Rhino Republicans that somehow, well, Donald Trump would never win in a general election. Where's the data? I mean, unless you know something about cheating, I'd like to see the data on that. How do you say that he cannot win? And everything he has been through. I mentioned hell. Well, not that bad, but being locked up by New York City authorities, that total mess. And then the feds moving in and arresting him. And then crazy Jean Carroll, whatever, getting a national platform for something that did not happen in the 1990s. And oh, by the way, we have something called the statute of limitations. And they created a special law to blow off the statute of limitations. They signed a law. They pretended that it was all about helping women. It was all about getting Trump. And he's still Trump.
I want to thank you personally. Now get out there and knock on doors and do all the things that you're doing. We appreciate it. Make America great again. God bless you.
So they've unleashed all of these horrible things against Donald Trump, and he has gotten stronger. He has gotten better. He actually appears to be younger. And what about their favorite guy, Joe Biden? Everybody can see he's getting weaker. He's getting meaner. He's getting weirder. And folks are waking up. And the mainstream media is actually telling him some stuff that is not flattering about Joe Biden. Like that 7-year-old granddaughter of his. I'm sorry, 4-year-old. She's Navy. Her name is Navy, and she lives in Arkansas. And she is unacknowledged by the President of the United States as his own flesh and blood. That girl right there is the granddaughter of the President of the United States. Has never met him. If Joe has his way, she never will meet him. She can't call herself a Biden. All she gets is a crummy painting from Hunter. But the media are starting to tell the story. Little tentatively, but they are. The New York Times wrote a pretty scathing op-ed. It's 7 grandkids, Mr. President, not 6. They said he had a cold heart. They said that this is unconscionable. And it is. It is. Especially for a guy who walked around saying that he was granddad of the century.
Hey, by the way, did you get a picture of the dogs? I tell you what, did you see the message they sent? They said they miss you. I miss you too, Angel. Okay, I'm heading home now. I'll call you when I get back to Delaware. I love you, baby. Bye-bye. She's an incredible kid.
Oh, wow. He put that on Twitter in October of 2020 when he was trying to get people to like him. And this is the tweet that he put along with that video. I've had a rule my entire life. No matter what's happening, no matter how important the meeting, I'll always answer a call from my grandchildren. Well, one of your grandkids doesn't even have your number. And her name is Navy, and here she is visiting Washington, D.C. Imagine visiting Washington, D.C., and your grandfather's the president, and you can't see him. He won't even acknowledge you. Wow. Now, there's getting a little bit of attention from the dominant media, but they're still writing him all kinds of free passes.
When you start talking about people's families and what they're doing, I find it unnecessary. This is not anybody's business. Nobody needed to know about this. No. This is private. And I know people feel like you need to know everything. I'm sorry, you don't. You need to know not almost anything about people.
Yeah, we're just deplorables. What do we need to know, right? We don't need to know that. He's only the most important person in the world, has a grandchild, and has all kinds of things he doesn't want us knowing about. Text messages with weird Chinese people and communist positions. Wild, huh? What does a Republican on this panel have to say about all this?
I do feel like if it was Trump, we would talk about it, is the thing. If Trump had a grandkid he wasn't acknowledged, we all talk about when he didn't acknowledge Tiffany very much.
She was talking very fast, but I think she said if Donald Trump had an unacknowledged child, folks would talk about it. And then Tiffany, she says Tiffany is basically unacknowledged. Well, here she is speaking at the Republican National Convention. Let's see. Here's Tiffany at the inauguration of her father. Did they make her sit in the back? No. There she is. This is, okay, the insider says that Tiffany is unacknowledged. This is Tiffany at her wedding being walked down the aisle by President Trump, huh? Wow. and in the White House. Talk about fake news. The View, oh, by the way, is a news program. It's officially a news program. Something else that people are catching on to. We already know this. We've been talking about it for years because it's important, and it's kind of gross. Hunter and his situation with Beau's wife, Haley, and the stuff that they continue to say about their situation. It's pretty ugly. It's pretty ridiculous. It would destroy any family, or at least give them some heartburn or something. Let's go to Hunter's book. I looked it up. This little dalliance with his brother's wife after, we presume, he died. Well, after Hallie and I returned from Sedona in the fall of 2016, our relationship remained a work in progress. We kept it to ourselves while we figured out where it might be headed. I think the word is incest, and you had already arrived, more or less. Next, please. It didn't last long. That didn't last long, I guess, when they kept it under wraps. After our trip, Kathleen found texts, this is his wife, between Haley and me on an old iPad that I must have left at the house. That gave her the gift of justification. I was a sicko sleeping with my brother's wife. Well, you got that right, okay, but he's saying it somewhat sarcastically. He seems to resent Kathleen. I said, honestly, that Haley and I were incredibly lucky to have found the love and support we have for each other in such a difficult time. This is what he told the newspaper when they called. And he had to call his father and say, this is a story now. Will you make a statement? Joe Biden said, I'm not so sure. Again, back to the book. Joe was reluctant. He was reluctant, but finally said he'd do whatever I thought was best. He was reluctant, like a normal person would be. You're sleeping with your sister-in-law. Are you in... Oh, gosh. What did Joe say? He says he's happy about the situation. Happy. He actually said he was happy. This is one of the most perverse things I've ever seen. We are lucky that Hunter and Hallie found each other as they were putting their lives together again after such sadness, okay? Next, they have mine and Jill's full and complete support, and we are happy for them. How do you feel about Kathleen, the wife of Hunter at the time? Look, everybody screws up, all right? This is never like this, but this is one of the reasons why you don't run for president. When something like this happens, you don't run for president. All right, does this bring us back to, yes, it does. It brings us to the hypocrisy of Joe Biden. You know how he talks about death a lot and people missing from your life?
I know the pain that so many of you are experiencing right now. Starting by sitting down for breakfast this morning and staring at an empty chair around the kitchen table where a loved one used to sit, laugh, talk about how you love one another. I know the frustration.
Wow, that's so poignant, huh? Well, what about Navy? What about Navy? She's never going to get to know her grandfather, the President of the United States, as you check in on all of the others? Are you crazy, sir? I mean, this is what an insane person would do with his means, with his station in life. And don't tell me you're too busy to check up on this 4-year-old girl. We all saw you at the beach last weekend. Do the right thing, get on that plane, and go to Arkansas and do the right thing. And yeah, bring Hunter. He's the father. He's got a role in this as well. I'll be right back.